recent point that was about production of starch, which was the part of the carbohydrate. And to prove it, one activity we are going to discuss here. See the activity which is on the page number 3. Take two potted plants of the same kind, keep one in the dark or in the black box for 72 hours, that is for 3 days, and the other in the sunlight. Perform iodine test with the leaves of both the plants as you did in class 6. Record your results. Now leave the pot which was earlier kept in the dark in the sunlight for 3 to 4 days and perform the iodine test again on its leaves. Record your observations in your notebook. Here you can understand we have to take two potted plants. We have to keep one in the dark and one in the sunlight, both for 3 days, that is for 72 hours. And we have to take the iodine test after 3 days. We will easily understand that after performing the iodine test, we will get the result that will be very clear, which will tell us about the presence of the starch. The plant that we kept in the sunlight will show the presence of the starch by the iodine test, and the plant that we kept in the dark will not show any kind of starch in the iodine test. Sometimes we see that the green leaves, different colored leaves, but you should know that the green color mostly show the chlorophyll. Sometimes we see the leaves are green in color. Somehow some amount different shades are also available on that leaves. They are red, brown, and other colors. But you should remember that the photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also, because the green color is present under this red or other color. So the green color nothing but the chlorophyll, the presence of chlorophyll. Because of this we can understand the photosynthesis process takes place in all kinds of leaves, even it contain different colors, but somehow proportion the other color, that is the green color, is under that color. Okay, so that is the examples you can see on the in the figure 1.4, the leaves of various colors, that you can understand. Okay, sometimes we see where the mostly in the rainy season the stagnant water is there, and in that stagnant water we see the green slimy substance, that's nothing but the algae. And this algae is not is one kind of the plant, we can say. This algae contain the chlorophyll. So here again we can understand that algae also prepare their own food with the help of the process named as photosynthesis. The process named as photosynthesis means algae that we see in stagnant water or in the ponds have the green color which contain the chlorophyll, can also prepare the food by the process called photosynthesis. Okay, now we are going to see the next point, which is on the page number 4. Synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. We should know that plant not only prepare the carbohydrate, plant also prepare other components which we use as a food item. So let me see that which are that other items. In the process of photosynthesis, we know that the carbohydrate is the main product, but the carbohydrate also contains some other components. That is, carbohydrate contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So these are the components of carbohydrate. So these components, which components? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, can be used for the preparation of some other components of food, such as proteins and fats. Proteins and fats can be prepared from these carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So proteins and fats are prepared here along with the carbohydrate. But you should know that protein is a nitrogenous substance. Proteins are nitrogenous substance which contain the nitrogen. Now, to prepare the protein, plant will require the nitrogen. But do you know from where the plant get that nitrogen? The plant get the nitrogen from some sources. Let's think. You may have thought about this in the previous lesson, previous standard. You may have seen that, heard somewhere. From where the plants get the nitrogen. Okay. I think in the lesson air, we have learned it somewhere that air is a balanced mixture of all gases, where we understand air contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and many other gases along with the water vapor. But we also know that the proportion of the nitrogen in air is highest, that is 78%. So you may think that plant can easily get that nitrogen, but that is not the truth. Even if the proportion of the nitrogen is highest, that is 78%, then too plants cannot absorb the nitrogen directly as it is. Okay, so that plants has to convert the given nitrogen in the soluble form, but the plant do not have that facility. So for that purpose, even if the gases contains more amount of nitrogen, plants cannot take that nitrogen. So now we have to think then how the nitrogen is available for the plants. There are two main ways by which the plants can get that nitrogen. We know that the first point I'm going to explain here now. The first point, we know that the soil contain the roots of the plant, or the roots of the plants are very firm in the soil. So soil has certain bacteria that convert the gaseous nitrogen into usable form and release it into soil. These soluble forms are absorbed by the plants along with the water. Very clear. Soil contains the bacteria. Bacteria absorb the nitrogen from the air and convert it into the soluble form. And as it converts into the soluble form, that soluble form nitrogen is easily available for the plants. This is the one way. And second one, which is very common, we know that the farmer, he add the fertilizers into his field, so that fertilizers are rich in the nitrogen. So in this way they provide the nitrogen to the field, means nitrogen is added to the soil by the farmers in the form of fertilizers. So here, this is the second way where the farmer adds, and the first way where the bacteria collect the gases and convert into the soluble form of nitrogen. So these are the two ways. So in this way, the requirement of the nitrogen is fulfilled. Here it is clear now that plants can then synthesize components of food other than carbohydrates such as proteins and fats. So now we understood that plants prepare the carbohydrate along with the proteins and fats, which is easily available for us in the form of food. Now we are going to see the next point, other modes of nutrition in plants. 1.3, other modes of nutrition in plants. We have seen plants are autotrophic, But now we are going to see a little something different, which is very interesting one. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize their food. How do they survive? From where do they derive nutrition? Like humans and animals, such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. We know that plants can synthesize their food, but some plants, their leaves do not contain the chlorophyll. So these plants have to be depend on other plants or animals for their food purpose, and they are termed as, or their mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Okay, you can see it on the page number 5. They have given the one figure of the cuscuta, that is amabel, which is a very interesting one to look at. You just see in the figure, you can see very clearly the yellow tubular structures twining around the stem and branches of tree. This is the plant called cuscuta, that is the amabel. You can see that very clearly. See, the green color leaves are there, but along with that, yellow color tubules. See very carefully. Observe it. The yellow tubular structures, they are nothing but the plant called as the cuscuta, and the green color big tree. Here, no need to mention the name, but you can understand the most important plant, that is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition example, that is the cuscuta. Cuscuta does not have chlorophyll. It takes the ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. You can see very clearly the original color of the plant, that is big tree, is green, but the yellow tubules, they are showing that is the cuscuta, which is taking ready-made food from the plant on which they climb. Here I would like to prepare the definition for the host. See, what is the host? The plant on which it climbs is called host. The plant on which heterotrophic plant climbs is called host. Okay, so this question also you can prepare. The plant on which heterotrophic plant climbs is called host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, it is called parasite. Now, why I told now that I'm not going to mention the name. You have to find out. The big green color tree they have shown in the figure 1.5. That green color plant contains all the things that they require, but the cuscuta, the yellow tubular plant, has to be depend on that big tree, and due to that, cuscuta is also known as parasite. So here you can prepare the definition for parasite. As now we have prepared for the first, you can prepare the definition for the parasite. Okay, are we and the other animals also parasites on the plant? You should think about it and discuss it with your teacher. When you will meet at that time, we'll discuss about that, or after the lesson also we can discuss. You know that we are the animals, of course human animals. We are dependent on the plant and animals for the food purpose. So can we consider ourselves also as a parasite? Think, take time, take your time and think about it. Okay, actually we are on the page number 5. Now we are going to see very interesting thing. We have seen animal can eat the plants, but have you listened it before that plant can eat the insect or animals? Is it interesting? If you are taking interest, it's a really interesting one. See, have you seen any plant can eat the animals? Yes, it's right. There are a few plants which can trap the insects and digest them. Is it not amazing? Yes, it's amazing for me, of course, and it must be amazing for you also. Such plants may be green or some other color. You can see it on the page number 5, the figure they have shown in the figure 1.6, picture plant showing lead and pitcher. Pitcher is the name of a plant that is known as insectivorous plant. Now we are going to see why it is called insectivorous plant also in a detail. Just observe the figure. Now I'm going to describe about the figure. The pitcher like structure is modified part of the leaf. You can see the figure where the pitcher like structure is modified in the modified part of the leaf. The apex of the leaf forms the lead. You can see that in the figure. The upper part of this pitcher is a kind of lead which can open and close the mouth of pitcher. Inside the pitcher there are hairs which are directed downwards. When an insect lands the pitcher, the lead closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into hair. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in pitcher. Such insect eating plant are called insectivorous plant. Here you can understand the pitcher plant have the special design, special structure where the lead plays an important role. Also, the inside hairs, they also play that a very important role. When any insect lands on pitcher, the lead automatically closes and the insect get trapped into the hairs present inside the pitcher plant. Here we can understand that insect is eaten by this insectivorous plant. So we can say here insect eating plants are called insectivorous plant. Here you can frame the question. Which question? What is mean by insectivorous plant? Define insectivorous plant. Give examples of insectivorous plants. Many more questions we can prepare. Remember always, whenever we talk about the question and answer, question can be prepared when we know the answer. If you know the answer, you can easily frame the question. Okay. Now, we should think about it. Just why the pitcher plant, even if it is a plant, why they are required to eat other plants, or other animals? Why they require? Even they can prepare their own food. Here now I have not discussed actually about the pitcher. Pitcher is green in color. It means it contains the chlorophyll. Then pitcher plant, even if it contains the chlorophyll, then why they depend on other animals? Why they trap and digest the animal? Why they require to digest that animal? It's interesting question. But now I would like to answer this question. Mostly these pitcher plants grown in such areas where the proportion of the nitrogen is less. Means pitcher plant grows in such a soil where the nitrogen proportion is less amount or absent. Then for the preparation of nitrogen, this plant is in the search of nitrogen, and whenever they trap the insect, from that insect they can get the nitrogen and they can prepare the proteins that they require for them. Okay, so this is the actually the reason behind why the pitcher plant trap the insect. Even it can prepare its own food. Okay students, in this session we have seen activity 1.1, in which we have seen how can we detect the presence of the starch in the plant. with the help of iodine test. Also about the algae, synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates, that is about carbohydrate, proteins and fats, how can we prepare, how plant can get the nitrogen, in which ways, that is with the help of bacteria present in the soil. And second one, addition of the fertilizers by the farmers in the field. We have also seen point 1.3 other modes of nutrition in plants, that is the heterotrophic mode. We have seen example of the Cuscuta, that is Amarvel, which is the host plant. Actually, Cuscuta is known as parasitic plant, and the plant on which Cuscuta climb is called as host. That thing also we have seen. We have also seen very interesting part, that is about the insectivorous plants, where insect is trapped by the insectivorous plant and digested to obtain the nitrogen. These interesting things we have seen. Now I hope you will study for this. Here, whatever I taught, you have to focus on these all the points. You should read the lesson which is available on this video. You can read it, and while reading, just focus on the points, frame the questions, and meanwhile, as I told you, are very surprising and very talented friends, that is Paheli and Bujo. They have many questions for us, so you have to answer these questions as they are dependent on these lessons. At the last of the lesson, we will try to discuss about their questions. Now here, whatever I taught today, on the page number 3, page number 4, page number 5, in these 3 pages, on the page number 3 and 5, the Paheli and Bujo, they have asked the questions. Okay, so just think about it, do the study. We will meet at the next session. Thank you.